and welcome to the America's Credit Union's Economic Update. I'm Curt Long, Head of Emerging Issues and Deputy Chief Economist. This month, I'll be discussing the 2025 and 26 NCUA budget proposal. Before that, let me quickly review the NCUA's budget process. It typically starts in October with the release of the two-year budget proposal, which you can find on the NCUA's website. The next step in the process is the budget hearing, which takes place on November 22nd and provides stakeholders an opportunity to weigh in on the budget. Meanwhile, the draft budget gets posted to the Federal Register, providing the opportunity for stakeholders to submit comment letters. We highly encourage your credit union to send your comments to the NCUA. Those comments are due November 27th. After the budget hearing and review of comment letters, the NCUA releases a final budget in December. America's Credit Unions is testifying at the hearing and will submit a detailed comment letter. But in general, the proposed operating budget for 2025 and 26 is, simply put, too high. The 2025 proposal represents a 12% increase over 2024, and the 2026 proposed budget grows another 7.5%. These spending increases come at a time when inflation is subsiding. Here's a look at agency spending over the past decade compared to inflation. Notice that the two track pretty closely up through 2023. However, the 2024 budget was a notable departure as agency spending grew well in excess of inflation. That gap is poised to widen through 2026, assuming inflation aligns with the Federal Reserve's forecast. This spending path is unsustainable. Inflation peaked in 2022 at 9%, but has since returned to 2.5% on a year-over-year basis. If the agency continues to spend at such a breakneck pace, it will have grave ramifications for you and your credit union's ability to serve your members' needs. The financing of agency spending throughout the year comes from two sources. Federally chartered credit unions pay an operating fee based on their asset size. This covers the non-insurance related portions of the NCUA's budget, which is generally about 40%. The remaining 60% of the budget is paid directly from the Share Insurance Fund. Although your credit union doesn't actually write checks for those amounts, they are effectively allocated to every federally insured credit union in proportion to their share of total insured shares. Every dollar that the NCUA transfers from the Share Insurance Fund makes it more likely that your credit union will one day have to pay a premium assessment. That puts the prospect of a distribution from the insurance fund further out of reach. This table provides some examples of how the 2025 budget proposal would impact the bottom line of various types and sizes of credit unions. Remembering that only federal credit unions pay the NCUA operating fee, a $50 million FCU would pay over $10,000. When you add in the reduction in insurance fund equity, the total impact on a $50 million FCU would be almost $17,000. That's about 7% of the average bottom line for a credit union that size. There are serious challenges to operating a small credit union in a hyper-competitive environment. There are rapidly expanding costs to keep member data secure, meet regulatory compliance requirements, and provide the low-cost products and services that members expect. If the NCUA is truly concerned about the survival of small credit unions, they have to rein in spending. Meanwhile, the total bill for a $1 billion FCU is over $300,000. This is an extraordinary burden that siphons resources that could be used to add employees or provide even better rates and lower fees for members. This final chart looks at the median federal and federally insured state chartered credit union and how their total NCUA budget burden has grown in recent years. In both cases, the burden has risen dramatically. For the median FCU, it's increased from slightly below $10,000 in 2022 to over $14,000 next year, if the NCUA budget is finalized as proposed. Keep in mind the 2026 budget represents another large increase, so this number would grow by a sizable amount again unless the NCUA makes cuts. Turning to state charters, It's worth noting the median state charter is over twice as large as the median federal charter. But the pattern for state charters is the same as for federals, with a nearly 40% growth in budget burdens from 2022 through 25. As you review the NCUA budget proposal, America's Credit Unions has a tool so you can see how it impacts your credit union. We have a calculator on our website that shows both the operating fee that will come due if you're a federal charter and the insurance fund impact to both federal and state charters. That insurance fund element is an update, so if you looked at our calculator when it was released, I would encourage you to take another look to get a complete picture of how the NCUA budget impacts you and your members. We've shared the link where you can find that calculator in the description posted below. That will do it for this month's Economic Update video. We'll see you next time.